on to Miss Winnie, who is seated far to my right hand. Miss Winnie, karibu sana. Yes, now Miss Winnie Mahaga is a seasoned education leader, curriculum strategist, co-founder of the Inset CPD. She's currently the CPD coordinator at Rusinga School, where she champions students-centered teaching and also teacher development. From leading the Aga Khan High School to 100% Cambridge O-level pass rate to launching Rusinga Speaks. What a beautiful project there. A platform empowering students as global change makers, and Winnie's work speaks volume about visionary leadership in education. It's such a pleasure to have you in the show today.
Thank you so much. I'm honored to be here.
Thank you so much. Now we move on to the individual seated next to me. This is Donald Dombi. With us, we have him. We are honored to have him from very far. We are going to share much. He's famously known as the D. Ndombi, am I pronouncing it right?
Yes, sure.
A master mathematics educator and education consultant with over a decade of experience across the Kenyan, the British, American, and IB systems. He is the founder of D. Ndombi Education Consultancy, helping students worldwide to build both confidence and competence, and also supporting teachers who need that growth support. He extends that. He's also a football coach, a pianist, and a proud husband. Donald, welcome sana to the show. It is a pleasure and an honor to have you with us. Winnie, when you think back to your younger self, when someone mentions, when I was young, when you think of, I wish I remained to be that young person, what age comes to your mind? And why?
For me, I think it's the age between, is it 5, 6 to around 13? I call it the age of innocence, where the biggest worry is who's my deskmate, are they nice to me? And I remember that because I'm a last born in a family of 4. And so growing up my entire time, I've really been used to that attention, sort of. And so being the youngest, I remember my mom would always try as much as possible to make sure I'm comfortable. And so for me, that time, I felt like I'm so nurtured, so comfortable. Like the world is an oyster, sort of, you know. You don't know any challenge, you don't know any problem. The problems that I'm experiencing now, I didn't even imagine they existed, you know. And so you just kind of growing up knowing life is good, mom is here, dad is here. Of course, we didn't have everything, but my sisters are there. And the biggest thing is you don't want your sister to send you to the kitchen to get something, you know. And because you're the youngest, when that happens, you feel like, now again. But for me, I feel that was the best. So the best age, because life was easy. I was green, like the less, you know, somehow the less you know, the better, if you ask me. So I felt like the world was there to conquer, and I felt like there was no challenge. The challenges I had were external, sort of. It was not me battling some major thing, like where's rent going to come from, you know, am I going to make it to campus? I didn't even think about campus. The only thing I was worrying about is math, like go to class, and then I loved reading. And so when the teacher would say, who's going to read for us? And the teacher always picked me to read when the paragraph was longer. So I felt like the focus is on me. And just small things that made me feel like I know I could read English, I would speak English in a setup where most people were not necessarily inclined in that direction. So if I look back and I was to be given that experience again, I feel I'll be in my element, as Lillian has put it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, from the normal, when we look at lastborns, from almost every family, lastborns are usually very pampered, like you say, they're provided with everything. But when I look at your profile,
I know.
A seasoned education leader, a strategist, you have gone into coming up with projects. how does now this, at what level did you feel like now I can go out and stand for myself? Because in leadership, it comes with a lot of challenges, you know? So could you kindly take us through the journey a little bit to tell us, when did you realize yourself that I can lead, I can conquer, I can also create or rather inspire people behind me?
So you see, we are 4, but the age gap between the 4 of us is very minimal. So it's not like Lillian, where it's like 13 years between you and your sister. Yes. Between my sister and I, my elder sister and I, the age gap was actually 6 years. So the 4 of us were all born between 6 years. So we were always playing together and doing stuff together. And it's not until when they all went to high school, that's when I remained at home, and I would feel, I think that the love was a bit too much, sort of. I would feel direct. My mom would be like, we didn't have much, but my mom would be like, you wanted a bag? Now I can get your bag. Which one? So, but of course, it still took forever to get the bag, but the promises were much bigger and better. But along the way, now we went to high school, and now we're all kind of, I think the pressure was too much on my parents, and so those privileges sort of, they started dissipating. And then you start realizing that it's real world. The things are not as I imagined. I'm not as cushioned as I imagined. And so a small situations where you're told, okay, so your parents have not paid school fees, so you're going home. So I go home, my sister is there, my brother is, everyone has been sent home for school fees. So you start to realize, okay, we are not really privileged, number one. And then number two, yeah, my mom loves me, but my dad loves me, yes. But clearly, why didn't they pay mine first? You know? So that means I'm not necessarily favored as a last born as you want to imagine. And so that kind of makes you feel, well, your parents' love is there, but at one point you have to wake up and figure out what you want. Now, when my sister finished high school, I think I remember, even before I went to high school, my dad kept saying, we will, back then, of course, you finish high school, then you pick a school. And then the school you're called to, that's where you go. So my dad kept insisting, if you don't get the marks that are going to take you to a school that you deserve, I'll not go looking for a school for you. So that started making me feel, okay, so I have to work hard. Okay, then I picked a school, then I went to that school. Then when I was in high school, that's when I started feeling, okay, I have to go to campus, because now my sister also finished, and my dad was like, if you want to go to campus, it's better if you go direct, without having to look for a college and what so. So going to campus was such a big deal, and I was like, I have to work hard till I get there. Yes. And that's where I started focusing on that. And so all the way through campus, by the time I was first year, second year, I was so independent. The last one, I think, were that by the time I was in Form 2, Form 3 there. In fact, by the time I was going to Form 1, though I think my parents had saved a lot for that, it was very embarrassing for me, because number one, the shopping I had, I saw my sister going to Form 1. Her shopping was insane. Everything was new. But me, when I was going to Form 1, going now last one, you're thinking now, it was very different. Everything was hand-me-down. Because my sister, it's like my parents have done it, so everything was hand-me-down. So I think that was like sort of a wake-up call, like, yes, your parents love you, you're the last one and all that, but it's not necessarily mean that you're going to be a spoiled brat. Wake up, smell the coffee, and do the work, and do what you have to do. And that's when it started getting inside me. And the whole through campus, I was doing tuitions, I was working here and there to just supplement myself. By the time I was done, I was as independent as can be.
We see.
Yeah.
Such a nice journey over there. Yeah, I've personally worked with Winnie. She has been my senior, and I've watched her from a distance. Hence, when I thought of starting this channel, I had to go for her, and she almost declined to come the last minute, and whatever I told her was she had no option, she had to show up. And thank you so much for coming. That's an inspiration to someone outside there. What is this? You mentioned you had that support system surrounding you. If you could just look back, what is the one challenge, that you could mention to us that you went through, that you wish to tell someone outside there that is normal, and for sure you will overcome?
Actually, there's several, but let me mention the one. And maybe, I think especially in this era of unemployment, we'll start with that. After you finished campus, imagine when you're smart and all that, you've just, like, the matrix was a bit, I don't know, it was a bit easy. That's what our parents told us. If you go to high school, you go to campus, you get a job, you get a big loan, you build a big house.
Yes, it was about loans.
Then you settle down,
work with the
have
government.
children. And like it's a roadmap. But you know, when I finished campus, I think it was such a rude awakening because I think it was a bit obvious that you don't just finish and get a job. So when I finished, I had, in fact, all through campus, I had to figure out, because I was getting some money from help, I was getting some money from my parents, but of course it's not enough. And so even while I was in campus, I was doing supplementary duties just here and there to get some extra cash. And so I used to teach. Of course, I studied French and literature, but I used to teach chemistry, physics, biology, and math.
Wow. So
now when I'm on holiday, there's this because my campus life is paid for by the government. That means I don't have the luxury to hasten my years in campus. I don't know if you understand. Like there's some friends of mine, in fact there's a lady I had on TV speaking, she was 21 and she had done campus in 2 years. And I'm like, so the only problem is money. If I had money, I would have done campus in less than 4 years. So we have to, when we close over for this summer break, we have to be away for almost 3 months and we don't know what to do this time. So for me, I used to teach. So I used to teach chemistry, physics, biology, and it's not my area. Of course, I loved chemistry and biology in high school. I had an A actually.
It was my nightmare.
But now, having to teach meant I had to, the whole night I had to go through StuDX, DY, and I was teaching candidates, you know. So I had to really prepare physics, prepare biology, prepare chemistry, prepare all those things. And then I teach, and then I get some extra money. Like now I can comfortably live. Not necessarily get that handbag that I want, no, just get by. So at that moment, I never imagined I'll be able to get that paycheck that I really want. And so then I finished campus. I'm like, okay, if I'm lucky, I can just get a job right away. I finished. No. So I still did that. So every April holiday, December, actually I only did once, April holiday. And I remember waking up one morning and I was staying with a roommate and we didn't have much. So I had worked, I got some money and I've bought some essentials. And so now I'm going to work the following morning and for some reason everything, she has misused everything. So I'm trying to prepare to go to work. It's not work, you understand. It's like just going for tuition. But I can't, like, so now there's no sugar, there's no kerosene. We're using a stove. So she has used the small amount of kerosene remaining to boil water to take a shower. And me, I was thinking that's going to use it for breakfast. So I'm waking up and asking myself, but I've just finished campus. It's supposed to be easier, you know. So I think it's from that moment that I told myself clearly, and you remember when that last bond kicked out? So my parents were sending me some money to support. It's not enough. Of course, now you've finished. Now help is no longer coming. So that means you really have to work on your finances. And that challenge made me feel I was ready to work, to do anything just to get a livelihood, ready to bomb mafua, you know, ready to pick any skill that can just get some income. But luckily, the fact that I had these tuitions coming, I was able to teach this for 2 weeks every April. And I remember I taught in my neighborhood. I taught at Kenya Poly. There's a person who had organized some students who used to come to Kenya Poly. It is now the Kenya Technical University now. So I would go there with a few students. I teach this one. I teach three of them literature set books. I go to another teach chemistry. I go to another. Like, it was interesting, but it was overwhelming. So looking back, I was like, at that moment, there was so much disillusionment. I felt like I've been cheated. How do I go through campus? I was the best student in high school, in my school. In fact, I was the best. I knew after this, now whatever I was worrying about is done, you know. So I finished high school. I've been called back to give a speech to my former students. I'm telling them, you know, I was in this corridors. You understand that kind of speech? And then I've gone through campus. I've finished. done my French very well, my literature, and I was told French is marketable.
Yes.
But now, still, the jobs are not forthcoming. So the fact that I had to fall back to chemistry, physics, biology, and that made me feel, number one, your training should not limit. Like you have your training, okay?
Yes.
But there's another set of skills that you have that you need to fall back to at any one time. So if I can't use my voice today, which is my greatest asset as we speak,
yes,
what other options do I have? And that's a question you need to ask yourself every other time. If you can't use that one stronghold thing, that thing that you know is your biggest asset. I had Donald say he can play the piano, he's a football coach, he's a teacher, he's a consultant. That means that if this doesn't work, he has like 3 other plans, okay?
Yes.
And so I feel having that, looking back, the fact that I went out of my way to just get things done, I'm happy that I did. But also, I'm also happy that I shaped my destiny in one way or another, because I can now comfortably say, because I teach French, I can't see opportunities in French. Am I seeing opportunities in chemistry? Yes. Can I teach it? Yes. I'm not saying you go and start, doing things that are totally out of your reach, but you have something. Work with that.
Meaningful.
Work with that.
Yes.
And looking back, I'm happy that I did, because it wasn't for long, because shortly after, that was the last thing I did, because shortly after I got the first call and got the first job, and ever since it's been just flowing.
Yeah. The resilience in that.
Yeah.
And I really like the fact that you said you're encouraging someone to learn another skill. And that resonates very well with what Mr. Matthew here said.
Yeah.
Gain skills.
Yeah.
Build bridges. Many a times we are told, do not burn bridges. Do not burn bridges. But he comes with it in a positive way that build bridges and then learn skills.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Miss Winnie. Kindly take us through your letter.
Okay, my letter.
Yes.
Now, I tried, it's not as specific as, I've not gone into the specifics of my childhood, but I've just tried to mention the specific areas that I felt if someone, talked to me, then how I would feel. So, this is the letter to my younger self. Dear Winnie, I wish I could fall back time and sit beside you now, your small hand lost in mine. I'll tell you this, those mistakes you carry like heavy stones are not failures. They are the cracks in the pavement where wildflowers grow, the discordant notes in a song that is still finding its melody. Each stumble is a chisel, shaping you into something magnificent, even if the carving hurts. I know you have drawn maps of the future in your mind, each destination marked with a specific date. Please burn those maps. Life is not a straight road. It is a wild, winding river, and its currents will pull you towards shores you never dreamed existed. The most breathtaking views will not be from the peaks you planned to conquer, but from the quiet, sun-drenched clearings you discover by accident. So please, unclench your fists, breathe, let the river carry you. You're going to meet souls that feel like sunlight. Some will become constellations in your sky, fixed and steady for a lifetime, like your parents, maybe your life partner. And so the others will be shooting stars, a brilliant fleeting streak of light that makes you gasp before it's gone. And yes, your heart will ache with the empty space they leave behind. But every person is a mirror reflecting a part of you that you needed to see, and leaving you with echoes of laughter and lessons that will settle into your bones. Please, let this truth be an anchor in your stormiest of seas. You are enough. Right now, your worth is not a trophy to be polished and displayed, not a checklist of accomplishments to be ticked off. It is the quiet, steady light of the lantern you carry inside, a warmth that exists in your kindness, your courage to face another dawn, and the love you pour into the world without asking for anything in return. Hold on to that spark within you, that insatiable curiosity, that flicker of awe at sunset. It is a compass needle that will always point you towards wonder. It will be your fire on the coldest of nights and your guide through the darkest of forests. Trust it and it will lead you to moments of joy so pure and overwhelming, they will feel like you are coming home. I am so proud of the person you are becoming. Always. Me, just a little further down the river.
It's amazing.
So good, so beautiful. I love that. It's a whole story told in a poetic way. And I love the fact that you said, release your fist.
Yeah.
Donald here said, you mentioned something and said, don't overplan.
Yeah.
First, aim at the target, get the grade you want or the score, then the other things will come. This is so beautiful. Thank you so much. It's I believe someone has been inspired out there.
For me, I think my parting shot is, first, thank you for the opportunity. It's been very interesting.
Wow.
Just talking, and very emotional, just going back to my younger self and the experiences and how they've shaped me. And what my parting shot is, every step you take, it might look like it's very minimal, but it has a huge impact. In fact, when you're going through something, you feel like you don't even know you're going through it. It's when you look back when you realize, I did that and I conquered that. So don't give up, don't lose hope. No matter how small your progress looks, with time, it's going to be very meaningful. I'm very passionate about public speaking, passionate about giving students a voice, and so a students' agency. And so I've co-founded Rusinga Speaks, which is a platform that allows students from the age of around 7 to 18 to talk about sustainability, climate change, biodiversity change, and biodiversity loss, and all those things to do with just the world around them, and just to make them change makers, just to voice it. And so if you're a student and you feel we can connect, I think that's my area, and I love mentoring students into journalism, public speaking, and that area. I'm not really 100% there, but that's my passion. I also love like what Donald is doing, professional development. Basically just being a support system to young teachers, young early career teachers, just to help them know that they're not alone. We are the elder siblings. We're going to hold your hand. So if you want to know much about Rusinga Speaks, just go to Rusinga School's website. You'll find what we've done so far. And then about my professional development, we have on TikTok, on Instagram, and YouTube. Not so much on YouTube, not yet, but it's Inside CPD. We just talk about everything to do with professional development. So our focus is to empower as many people who are starting off as teachers to know how to go about it. So thank you for the platform, and this is what you're doing is really good.
Thank you.
I'm looking forward to just looking back and seeing how many people have impacted through this, and thank you so much, and we look forward to more of this.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. That means a lot.